Hello there and welcome to Phoenix Point. We're going to be starting a new Let's Play and we are going to be working our way through with the Blood and Titanium DLC enabled, along with the Alien Living Weapons and Chitin Armor DLC from our pre-order period. So let's go right in and start a new game. We're not going to be going through with the tutorial and we are going to be playing on Veteran.
The Phoenix Project was founded on October 24th, 1945. The Second War to End All Wars was over, but there were those who understood that we could no longer afford to think in terms of nations and empires. For a time, the Phoenix Project successfully navigated the political conflicts of its era. That was our golden age. Phoenix Project operatives scoured the world for clues. We had bases in 24 countries. Even the heavens were not off limits. But out there, on the far side of the moon, began our downfall. The failure of the Phoenix 2 mission exposed us to our enemies in the UN. Stripped of resources and scattered to the winds, we were reduced to a secret, a memory. When the Pandoravirus woke up, we should have been the first line of defense. When huge clouds of mist appeared over the sea, when people started vanishing, we should have figured out what was going on. And when those people started coming back, changed, hostile, alien, we should have been ready to fight, but we failed. The ecosystem started to change, imperceptibly at first, then faster and faster. 3 factions arose. New Jericho, trying to restore order and purity. Sanhedrin, hoping to build a world without hierarchies. And the disciples of Anu, a new syncretic religion dedicated to adaptation and biological change. At war with the world and at odds with each other, these factions cannot find a way forward. Now the mist is returning and armies are rising from the sea. Without the Phoenix Project, humanity will fall. It's time to rise from the ashes.
So here we are at the Geoscape. Now it's also worth mentioning that the build we're playing now is after the Leviathan patch, which did add some significant changes to the way that the difficulty scaling system works in Phoenix Point. So hopefully that should make it so people are finding the easier difficulty levels are a bit more forgiving and the higher difficulty levels are a bit more challenging. We are still working on balance, that we constantly work on the core game to improve things, to add new features and to change the way that things work. We do have lots more DLC coming down the line as well. And, you know, Phoenix Point is one of those games where we really want to sort of keep improving it, keep adding to it, and meaning that you'll always have something new and something different and something interesting to play later on. So, without a tutorial to get us started, we can just see that we've got a few points of interest around that we need to go and investigate. We should start some research off, so let's go and add atmospheric analysis to the queue. Do we want to start manufacturing something right away? Do we want to get like a few med kits going or a few grenades or something like that? We've already got 6 med kits. We're probably going to get some from scavenging missions, so we don't really need to worry too much about that. We have 6 grenades as well. It's probably enough right now, so I'm not overly concerned about that. Let's go ahead and have a look at our base and see what we have. So we do have a living quarters. It might well be worth having another one, but we are losing food right now. So let's go ahead and just get ourselves a food production plant in there. Let's go back to the Geoscape and we'll go and head to... well, actually, as we're on the base, there's a lot of extra stuff that could be around here. I was considering heading to one of these outer ones and starting an area scan, but let's start our area scan here at our base because there are likely to be a few points of interest in here that we have missed. And let's go down and start investigating this point of interest just to the southwest of our base. And we've got an Disciples of Anu Haven. The Haven of Kundra. Mutated worm infestation causing serious problems. The locals had placed their hopes in Texiarch Nurgle. and the Disciples' greatest military hero, but Nurgle is said to be fighting a series of pitched battles against the Pandorans and has been unable to help. We could eradicate the infestations ourselves, helping the Haven and creating a good first impression with this faction. Well, let's go ahead and jump into this one. It is a mission that you will have probably seen before, because a lot of these faction introduction missions are always the same, just the first time you meet them, the first missions that you get. Let's go ahead and just check our equipment on these guys, because we probably do want to give them a little bit more stuff. Almost certainly want to have people carrying some extra ammo. It's never a bad idea to carry a grenade or a med pack, no matter what your class, if you have the space for it. So carry some ammo. I don't really think pistol ammo is needed for the sniper. It's not very often that I find the sniper really... I mean, I love the pistol. The pistol's a great thing to have, and there are certainly times where having that pistol really helps you out, especially if you're having to deal with mine fraggers, but most of the time you don't really need a reload for that. Your rifles, yes. Your pistols, not usually. But that's everybody done there. We will go through at some point and we'll change the color scheming of our soldiers just so they're a little bit easier to differentiate on the battlefield. These are just the default names in there at the moment, but if any of you would like your names putting in, leave them in the comments, and we'll start. If we get some regular viewers watching this series, we will add you to the list of soldiers we have in our campaign. And hey, who knows, if you're a backer at the Soldier Roster Edition or the Signature Edition and above, you might even find you're in here already. So let's go ahead and deploy into this mission. Okay, so here we are in our first mission. We know we've got some fireworms to deal with. Now, I find this to be quite an easy mission, but at the same time, I still like to treat it with respect. It is one of those missions where you can make a mistake, and that mistake can cost you. So it is worth being relatively careful. We have spotted our first enemy, who is over there. Probably haven't got a very good chance of hitting him from here. I'm going to put this guy onto Overwatch and just watch in this direction, because there are some enemies that could come from this side of the map. Although we are very close to the map wall, it is still a possibility. There's likely to be more than one enemy over in this direction. There's probably going to be a few over there as well. This is one of those maps where, and I'm not a person that particularly likes to sort of Overwatch creep, but this is definitely one of those maps where it doesn't hurt to be cautious on the first turn. Allow the enemy to come to you, because there's probably going to be a few of them creeping out. There we go. There is one over there as expected. Let's move you forward. We could possibly, I don't know, we don't really have the distance to lob a grenade that far. Let's move you over here. And again, I guess we could have another Overwatch just watching in that direction. Let's use our heavy. And let's go and get the heavy up high. Now, we could get the heavy all the way up here, but I don't really think that is necessary. It's nice having him somewhere where he can see what's going on. I guess a good view of the map doesn't hurt. Let's get him up there anyway. Just for the line of sight more than anything else. Because this is quite a long map, even though it's quite narrow. And as you can see, we've spotted a few more. He can't really be hit up there. He's quite safe, so not too concerned about that. And then finally, we've got our sniper here just hanging around at the back. And the thing that's probably best to do for our sniper is just to bring him forward. We're going to sort of sacrifice him having the ability to shoot or overwatch on this turn just to get him up front. And end the turn, and hopefully our overwatches will be enough to help us out here. We've got a few... oh, they're all clumping together. That's useful. They might make themselves an easy target for a grenade. Now, there is one there on the right-hand side. See, I said that there would probably be one that tried to sneak attack us from that direction. And then we've got a few over there next to the evacuation zone. So they're all kind of hanging around this area. That's not bad. Oh, we've got another one up ahead. Overwatch saves the day again. A couple up there on the roof as well. They're all scurrying off to hide. So all of the ones that are alerted now know our presence, and they may well come in to be a little bit of a pain. Now, our heavy's not going to have a particularly good chance to hit anything with the hell cannon from all the way up there, but it might be worth trying to see if we can hit something from up there. You never know. Sometimes you get lucky. Not in this instance, but, you know, it was worth a shot. Possibly just a waste of ammunition, but at the same time, let's give it a go. Right. So there's quite a lot of them heading this way. That is not something that I'm particularly keen on. Not sure that I could hit them all with a grenade, to be honest, but I'm willing to give it a go. We can actually get in quite close here. Let's run around in this direction. So there's actually quite a few of them. We'll switch to our grenade. Let's just check our grenade's explosion radius. We can't... Oh, they've just moved slightly far apart, so we can't hit 3 of them with a single grenade. That's a real shame. Well, let's try and get at least 2 of them. There we go. So that's 2 down straight away. That's really handy. Now, I'm just going to back him off around the corner a little bit so he's a bit less of a target. Let's go ahead and put our heavy on standby just so we don't keep moving the camera over there. So we could move over here and try and take a shot. We do know that there are a couple more in this direction. So I think we will just do an overwatch. We'll do an overwatch in this direction for this guy. And then we will move up and... I don't know, do we want to risk taking a shot? It's quite the distance. Let's do an overwatch, but let's make the cone short. So they'll have to move towards us for these shots to hit. And then, just as a last resort, and this really will be a last resort, we will set up an overwatch with the sniper. Maybe if any of them get through the overwatch, our sniper will be able to take them out. So we'll go ahead and end the turn there, because there's nothing else that we can do. And as expected, they are coming towards us, and our overwatch misses. So this is why we had that sniper on overwatch as well. Although I don't think he has enough movement to actually get to us and do anything, so we are good here. There is some grenade fodder happening again, so that's good. Okay, there's another one down. Useful. Okay, that is some good stuff. So let's go back down here. We can probably use a grenade to get rid of those 2. It might be a little bit wasteful, but yeah, let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to make this go sort of over in this direction a little bit, just in case there's one sort of hiding around here that I can't see, although if there is, my heavy should be able to see them, so I'm not overly concerned by that. Let's go back to the heavy, actually. And we might be able to hit something from up here. Every single one of them has actually managed to take cover. That is quite ridiculous. We don't have a line of sight on any single one of these. If we move over here, we do. Only just. It's a fairly low chance to hit, but we are aiming directly at the ground, so there's always the possibility. I'm just going to hope I don't clip the ground and hit where I'm standing, so we'll aim high a little. And we got it. Excellent. Nice kill for the heavy there. Start getting some XP on the board. And I think we've only got a couple left. So let's be a little bit reckless and sort of run forwards with our sniper. Again, there are likely to be some hiding in the buildings potentially. We'll move forwards with... Actually, we'll move a little bit further forwards because I don't want to block this guy from being able to get in. And again, I think we'll just do 2 relatively short distance overwatches. I don't want you guys shooting each other if you can avoid it, so let's go ahead and make that cone a little wider. And you can't do an awful lot now, but we will move you forwards and use you as bait. Okay, this is probably the last round for this mission. Excellent overwatch. There's one down. And, oh, this guy didn't move. That's interesting. He decided not to bother. We can actually see him. We do have a line of sight.
Channel open.
If we move over here... Is this the last one? I wasn't keeping count. And there we go. It's down. This is where we find out. Yep, that was the last enemy. So, nice and easy. I mean, obviously, we could have taken damage. It was possible that we could have even lost soldiers on that mission. I've seen it happen. We got a couple of level ups. We got close to one on our heavy. And gained some skill points. Excellent. Unfortunately, we didn't get a huge amount of rewards for doing that. But that's not too bad. As soon as we get our first scavenging mission, we'll be able to start getting some equipment and some items that we can use.
Normally, when we encounter a potential ally, we first send the Apostle to the Onceborn to check them out. But I'm gonna break protocol to say thanks. Now listen, I'll be honest with you. The Exalted is the only one who has any real answers. Tobias West may be clever and Synedrian may sound great, but only the Exalted is dealing with the world as it actually is. She can lead us out of this mess. Give us lives worth living.
Well, we'd clearly like to know more.
If you want to work with us, you'll still have to deal with the hierarchy. Work your way up from the Apostle to the Onceborn, to the Keeper of the Threshold, all the way up to the Synod of Yearning and the Exalted herself. That's hard work. You'll have to earn the knowledge you gain. But trust me, it'll be worth it. And if the Synod gives you trouble, let me know.
So we get an attitude change from the Disciples of Arno, +4, which is great, and 400 food. So even though I'm building food production, we are still losing food, but that gave us a nice big boost. If we have enough materials, what I'd probably also like to do is get a training center started here in the base as well. Can we afford to do so? That's living quarters. Why can I never find these things when I'm looking for them? There we go. 250 materials and 100 tech. We can afford it. Just about. Is it worth doing right now? Power consumption is currently 14 of 20. Yeah, so we've got enough to do it. Okay, let's go ahead and get the training facility at least started. So let's move to the next closest marker on the map. There is the completed research for atmospheric analysis. Reprogramming of our satellite systems has revealed the extent of the new mist outbreak. The origin sites are in coastal sea regions as in previous two incursions, but the activity level seems higher, posing a serious threat to remaining life on Earth. Havens caught within the mist will be at risk of attack, so we should explore mist-covered regions thoroughly and defend any havens trapped within them. Our geoscape monitoring systems have been updated with current mist coverage. Okay, so we can see our first patch of mist, and it's right here on our doorstep. There's also another one down here near Africa, and I guess we can't really see any others at the moment, but that's certainly enough to be dealing with right now. Okay, well, we need to queue up our next research, so there's a few options that we can do now. We can start on Haven recruitment protocols. Even though Phoenix archives are one of the primary story ones that we should be getting on with, being able to recruit as early as possible is well worth having a look at. This is actually something we're looking to change a little bit. If you've already played Phoenix Point before, you'll know that recruitment works by getting individual potential recruits from the different havens, from the different factions, but we're actually looking at a way where you'll be able to get recruits directly at Phoenix bases themselves, which hopefully should make it a little bit easy for those people that can't necessarily sort of travel around and try and pick people up from the different bases. It's something that we're exploring at the moment, but it's looking quite promising. But for the time being, we're going to start work on Haven recruitment protocols, just so we can start getting ourselves some fresh meat and definitely start research on the Disciples. I'll leave the other two for now in case something else comes up in the meantime that might be a little bit more pressing. So let's go back over to the site as we were going to. We'll do our exploration here, getting a few more points of interest now close to the base. Fort Lock is a haven run by New Jericho, which means that normally things are quiet and under control, but now there is an emergency. A group of soldiers is on a killing spree. It began with strange dreams, voices heard in the night, a local doctor tells our operatives. I could not detect any psychological changes, but there were certainly no signs of infection, and their behaviours simply cannot be explained by PTSD or similar conditions, which we at New Jericho are sadly quite familiar with. It's like something has driven them mad. If we stop these soldiers, New Jericho will undoubtedly be grateful to us. So we have to stop a group of rampaging soldiers. Now, this is the first mission and the introduction to New Jericho. I personally find this to be one of the trickier starting missions. It certainly can be done, but being up against very heavily armoured enemies with guns who have return fire, this is one of those missions that I like to put on the back burner a little bit, maybe until at least I've got some skills like dash, or maybe that I've got a 6 operative, just to make life a little bit easier. So I'm just going to leave that one alone for now. And just pop down here and have a look at this site that's close to the mist. And sometimes you get lucky. It's an exploration site. So approaching the burned out husk of a New Jericho convoy, our operatives are suddenly startled by a shout. From a rudimentary shelter dug out under one of the burned vehicles emerged a battered New Jericho technician, waving his arms and laughing. Exhausted by the ordeal, yet deeply grateful, the survivor offers to join the Phoenix Project. Now, obviously we don't want to execute him. What would be the point of that? We could send him back to New Jericho, but we haven't even really met New Jericho yet. That's kind of pointless. So let's just recruit him. Excellent. We don't even have to do anything. We've got ourselves a free technician. That is fantastic. So we've got ourselves a new recruit, and he is going to hang out in Manticore 1. There we go. Awesome. We've got ourselves 6 recruits. That's going to make that New Jericho mission a lot easier for us. But let's go ahead and check this point of interest as well before we end this video, just to see what we might find. And there's our research completed for Haven recruitment protocols. We have created a set of biometric and psych-eval tests in order to identify potential recruits. We need to locate havens with leaders favourable to our cause and barter any resources they want in order to secure our recruitment choices. It will probably be cheaper and easier for us to get recruits from havens with higher populations. Excellent. Well, we don't need to do that right now. We're not in as much of an emergency for that because we just got a free one. Fantastic. We definitely want to start working on Haven trade protocols though, and let us finish exploring this site. And we have ourselves a Disciples Haven here. We could raid them if we wanted to. That is an option you have in Phoenix Point. Even with people you're friendly towards, you do have the option to do hostile missions against them for various gains. There's actually a recruit that we could get here from this New Jericho Haven once we complete that. Let's go ahead down to this one just because it's close to the mist. Let's try and get the ones closest to the mist uncovered first. We've actually got one right in the mist. So there we go. We have another New Jericho, another Disciples of Anu Haven that we could raid. Let's just go and check out whatever this is down here in the mist. And we have ourselves the Temple Exploration Site. The Manticore 1 has detected an abandoned structure. On landing, our operatives have been able to identify it. Someone has constructed a huge metal spire, welding together hundreds of pieces of abandoned junk into a strange object that is 20 to 30 meters in height. It towers over the landscape around it. We can take off and leave the location undisturbed, or we can ransack the structure for materials. Let's give it a little bit of a rummage. So the Disciples are a little bit annoyed by us, but that's fine. I mean, we got +4 from them for doing that last mission, so we're still in a net positive, and that actually gives us a bit of positive respect from New Jericho. So with blood, sweat, and heavy-duty cutting equipment, our team managed to hack apart the structure. No one will ever know what it was for. We gained 450 materials. We did lose 10 stamina across our soldiers, but that is fine. We still have plenty to be getting on with. So let's leave this video here, and then when we come back next time, we will probably find ourselves a nice scavenging site to go and get our technician to cut his teeth in and get some XP, or we may attempt to do that New Jericho mission. I haven't quite decided whether or not that is next in line for us yet. So thanks a lot for watching, and we will see you on the next video. Until then, goodbye for now.